Cheops is one of the most powerful mages in a society that values only the abilities of its spellcasters. His wife, Benamont, is a well-respected and powerful healer that few can rival. Their daughter, Shala, is a magical prodigy and will one day be the most powerful mage of them all. And then there's Kellen, their son, the oldest of two siblings. He understands all the mechanics of magic, from the somatic forms to the mental geometry. But when he faces off in a duel against a fellow aspiring Jantep mage, none of it matters, because Kellen, unlike his mother, his father, and his sisters, has little magic of his own. This is the backdrop of Sebastien de Castell's Spellslinger series. The books of the Spellslinger series following Kellen are The Spellslinger, Shadowblack, Charmcaster, Soulbinder, Queenslayer, and Crownbreaker. Before I get into the review, let me explain how I actually do reviews. Personally, I'm not a fan of a single rating for an entire series or book. Many books and series have strengths and weaknesses that a single score doesn't properly reflect. So for my reviews, I use a 5-star rating system, with the 5 being the highest, over 6 categories. And they are plot, world building, characters, magic system, writing, and enjoyment. But before I begin, these videos do take a lot of time to put together. So if you like the video, it would mean a lot to me if you subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Category 1, the plot. So I'm going to start with my rating, 2 stars out of 5. All 6 books follow the exploits of Kellen Argos. Kellen is a Jantep mage. In this world, people that can cast magic are consolidated into a community or country called the Jantep. The events of the first book, Spellslinger, revolves around the Jantep society and Kellen's place in it. We learn that the Jantep society is a hierarchy based strictly on one's ability with magic. Powerful mages are at the top, and those that cannot cast magic at all are servants. Kellen's parents are both powerful mages, so they are naturally at the top of the society. Kellen, despite being the son of such powerful mages, has little ability with magic. Sure, he can memorize the mechanics and gestures needed to cast magic, but he just doesn't have that it factor that allows him to actually perform magic. What is that it factor? To cast magic in this world, the mage has to reach into ethereal planes via bands tattooed into their forearms using banding inks. Bands are what these tattoos are called. Sparking a band allows the mage to reach into that ethereal plane to cast spells from it. Kellen is unable to spark a band, therefore he can't cast magic. The first book concludes with him being made an outlaw for his actions. Now, there are 5 other books in this series, but I don't actually need to go over the plot intricacies of any of them, since they all follow the same simple formula. Kellen, our roguish main character, unlocks a new area of the map like a good old JRPG. He is then confronted with a conspiracy that involves his Kellen girl. Think Bond girl from the James Bond movies. Then, Kellen bitches and moans about how he doesn't want to get involved since he's an outlaw spellslinger and everyone wants to see him dead. Then, a character or event sets him straight, so he ends up helping. Then finally, he unravels the conspiracy and finds out that his people were the ones behind the conspiracy and puts an end to it using tricks and clever thinking. That's it. That's the plot of every book in the series. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with having a formulaic plot if the writer can fill it in with intrigue and memorable moments. Unfortunately, that's not what happens here. Nothing shocking really happens. Nothing rocks the boat and introduces something that pushes Kellen to a different place as a character. Every duel he fights boils down to him winning through a clever way. Every conspiracy he unravels is always tied to Jantep behind it. Every potential love interest falls for him. It's just not very interesting. Then there's the conclusion of the series in the 6th book. I absolutely hated it, since it resulted in a character doing a 180 and acting against their established modes in the pride of books up to that point. Now, I don't really want to get into it here since it would spoil the entire series, but basically a character that was established in a very specific way does a 180 and acts counter to it at the end for no other reason than to be a plot device for Kellen. It felt extremely cheap. And lastly, the Shadowblack. Shadowblack is an affliction that drives the afflicted insane as a demon slowly begins to take over their person. Yeah, it's not the type of cold you want to catch. The Shadowblack is ever present in every book. However, the questions posed by the affliction is never resolved in the series, and honestly, it felt as if the author forgot about it entirely in the final book. So for all these reasons, I have to give the plot 2 stars out of 5. Category 2. World Building. Sebastien de Castell has created a very unique world here. We are introduced to 6 different countries or areas across the 6 books. Yeah, each book focuses on a different area. The 6 places are Jantep, the 7 Sands, Gidabria, the Ebony Abbey, Daramay, and Barabesque. Now, lazy world building would have each of these areas feel the same but just have different rulers. That's not the case here. Each area feels very different and the people of each have their own views on religion and hierarchy. For instance, Jantep is all about magic and its entire society and structure is centered around one's ability with it. Daramay, however, is all about military and conservatism. In Daramay, children can be married at the very young ages of like 12 or 13, and wives are considered their husband's property. Every location feels very different and unique, so I'll give it 4 stars out of 5. Category 3. The characters. My rating for this one is going to be 3 stars out of 5. The series is narrated from Kellen's perspective, so naturally, Kellen is the main character. Now, how is he as a character? He's fine. He's witty and he's relatable enough through the journey. Unlike most fantasy characters who start off weak then grows powerful through their journey, Kellen is the opposite. He starts off weak and he stays weak. He never becomes this all-powerful mage. He survives through his own guile and wit. This ability to take what life gives you and make the most out of it is something that a lot of people can relate to. The issue that I have is the other characters. Rikus, Kellen's squirrel cat. Yes, it's a talking animal that's a cross between a squirrel and a cat. This is fantasy, people. He's fun and serves a role as comic relief for many parts. Arius, Kellen's Argosy mentor, is a bit frustrating actually. She's supposed to serve the role of the wise mentor that teaches Kellen of the world, but she devolves into a cowboy that just spouts inconsistent frontier knowledge and always at the right time to resolve a specific situation. Shala, Kellen's sister, is a character that I just want to punch in the face. She's haughty, manipulative, and fundamentally broken as a character for reasons I don't want to spoil. And the final recurring character is Nephinia. She's Kellen's childhood sweetheart. What annoys me about her is that we are repeatedly told when she's first introduced that she's extremely weak with magic and may fail to become a mage. Well, she later becomes an amazing charm caster because reasons ? Yeah, she's not well developed. If this character was just about Kellen, this would be easily a 4 stars out of 5, but with the side characters dragging it down, I'm going to have to give it 3 stars out of 5. Category 4. The magic system. For a series called Spellslinger, it better get the magic system right. Fortunately, it does. As I touched on earlier, to cast magic in this world, the mage has to reach into the ethereal planes via bands tattooed into their forearms using banding inks. When the mage sparks one of their tattooed bands, it allows the mage to reach into that ethereal plane to cast spells from it. There are 6 planes, therefore 6 schools of magic. The schools are breath, which allows for the use of air spells. There's blood, that's related to, well, blood, so it can be used to either hurt or heal. Iron, which affects physical objects. Ember, for cool, lightning, and fire spells. Silk, for mind-affecting spells. And lastly, sand magic, that allows for the manipulation of time. There's also a 7th school, which is the School of Shadow, but that one is banned by the Jantep, since it's tied to the Shadow Black and Madness. Overall, the magic system goes beyond just say cool words and cool stuff happens. It's unique, so I'm going to give it 4 stars out of 5. Category 5. The writing. Sebastien de Castell's prose is easy to read. His word choice is fine, and his words fly off the page at a quick pace. But there are errors in grammar and spelling, which is odd for a published book. The main issue that I have is Kellen's narration, though. Now, I don't mind that a book is told from Kellen's perspective, so you're only in his head. The problem is, it's a little boring to be trapped in Kellen's head. Kellen's a bit boring as a narrator. One of the advantages of telling a story in just one character's perspective is that you can get an interesting insight into how they view certain situations from behind their eyes. Kellen's perspective of situations isn't all that interesting or entertaining, unfortunately. Because of that, I'll give it 2 stars out of 5. Category 6. Enjoyment. Ultimately, I did enjoy the Spellslinger series. The world is unique, the magic system is well thought out, and the reverse hero's journey is interesting to read. Yes, it has its issues with the plot and writing, in my opinion, but I don't think it's enough to dampen my overall enjoyment of the series. So for those reasons, I'm going to give it 3 stars out of 5. So that's my review of the Spellslinger series. I hope it helps you decide whether it's a series you want to invest your time into or not. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. And with that, I'll see you all in the next one.